Section 91. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lu Yun and the others changed into their new outfits, and the transformation was immediate. They looked fantastic, each radiating an air of nobility. The four of them entered the Golden Turtle Tower. The interior was vast, the decor stunning, and the overall effect was magnificent. Clearly, the owner of this place was a big shot. To be known as the biggest black turtle shop in Shanghai City, you had to have serious clout. In the center of the hall, an ornate sign displayed key information about the store's current business. It listed items they were buying and what was hot. The first thing that caught Lu Yun's eye was a line in bold letters, buying pearls of life, $1.2 million gold coins each. Lu Yun felt a surge of excitement. What a stroke of luck. They were paying top dollar for pearls of life. Their clothes and overall appearance made it clear they weren't ordinary customers. It was hard to ignore them. A young guy, probably a waiter, hurried over, eager to help. He asked, "Welcome. What are you looking for today? I'd be happy to make some recommendations." Lu Yun knew that a waiter wouldn't be able to authorize a pearl of life purchase, but he wanted to feel things out before speaking to the manager. "Your sign says you're buying pearls of life at a high price. What's the deal?" he asked. The waiter readily explained, "Sir, as you know, pearls of life are the key to a black turtle evolving and growing stronger. The Lord of Blood Shark Castle needs them to evolve his own black turtle, so he's contracted with us to buy up as many as we can find. But, sir, these things are incredibly rare. It takes 1,000 years or more to grow one, and humans can't even cultivate them. They only come from the countless sea tribes in the ocean. They're incredibly hard to come by. So, at the request of the Lord of Blood Shark Castle, we're offering a reward way above the market price, 400,000 gold coins more." Lu Yun did the mental math. The going rate for a pearl of life at a high-end place like this was about 800,000 gold coins. The sea coachman he traded with before had offered him 700,000 each. He'd taken a bit of a hit, but not too bad. If he'd polished them himself, he could have gotten more, but he hadn't wanted to bother with it. The waiter's explanation made it clear that pearls of life were seriously scarce. They were in short supply and gone once they were used. And since a black turtle could evolve endlessly, anyone with the means would want to buy them in bulk to boost their turtle. Naturally, they were expensive. Don't think 1.2 million gold coins wasn't a fortune. To ordinary people, it was an astronomical sum. Lu Yun asked, "Are you actually getting pearls of life at that price of 1.2 million each?" The waiter shook his head, looking discouraged. "They're out there, but they don't grow on trees. We've gotten a couple, but it's not nearly enough for the Lord of Blood Shark Castle. His black turtle is already super powerful, and it will take at least 10 pearls of life to push it to the next level." Lu Yun nodded, playing along. "So, if I wanted to buy a pearl of life right now, you wouldn't have any to sell?" The waiter's eyes widened. Anyone asking to buy pearls of life had to have serious cash. He quickly apologized, "Sir, you're kidding, right? We're under immense pressure from the Lord of Blood Shark Castle. Any pearls we get have to go straight to him. We don't have any to sell. Sorry, we just can't sell them to anyone else right now." Lu Yun knew exactly where he stood. He grinned mysteriously and said, "I was just asking if you sold pearls of life." "Did I say I was here to buy them?" The waiter was confused. "If you weren't buying, why were you asking about them?" Lu Yun then pulled out a bulging bag and said, "I'm here to sell pearls of life. Get your manager. You don't have the authority to handle this." The waiter glanced at the bag. It looked full. If it was really packed with pearls of life, it was a huge deal. He was stunned. "Sir, are you serious? Are those pearls of life in that bag?" Lu Yun stopped teasing and opened the bag slightly. Suddenly, brilliant, shimmering light poured out. The waiter's jaw dropped, and he stared at Lu Yun in disbelief. He was speechless. He'd worked at Golden Turtle Tower for over a decade, and he'd never seen so many pearls of life in one place. Lu Yun was laying it on thick. To get enough gold coins, he'd brought 10 of his remaining 25 pearls of life. That meant he only had 15 left. His supply was dwindling fast. He could have gotten away with trading 5, so why 10? He'd been spurred on by the cost of recruiting Angel. the Archangel of Fire. Last time, he figured that if a situation ever came up where the more gold coins you had, the better, he'd be ready, so he'd brought 10 pearls of life with him just in case. Turns out, he'd hit the jackpot. There was a big spender desperate for pearls of life, willing to pay way over market value. After a moment, the waiter managed to regain his composure. He looked at Lu Yun and the 3 women with newfound respect. He swallowed hard and said, "Sir, you are very important guests. You should have said so sooner. Let me take you to our VIP room. We'll give you the best service." Lu Yun waved his hand. "Skip the formalities. I'm on a tight schedule. Just take me to your manager." The waiter nodded eagerly and bowed. Right. I'll take you to our manager right away. This way, please." He led them to a staircase and up to the 2nd floor, then, they continued to the 3rd. The clerks guarding the stairs on the 2nd and 3rd floors looked surprised. This guy was taking customers straight to the 3rd floor. They must be big spenders with a deal worth at least tens of thousands of gold coins. On the 3rd floor, the waiter kept going to the 4th floor. The clerk guarding the 3rd and 4th floors stopped him. "Hey, Wu Qing, what's the deal? You can't just bring any customer up to the 4th floor. If you have something important, talk to Butler Li." Wu Qing said, "Butler Li can't handle this. These gentlemen want to negotiate a deal worth tens of millions of gold coins with the store. Who else but the manager can authorize that kind of money?" The clerk was shocked. He quickly stepped aside and bowed. Please. Our manager is upstairs now." Lu Yun and the others reached the 4th floor. They couldn't help but gasp. The Golden Turtle building got fancier on every floor. The 1st floor had been impressive enough, but this was even more luxurious. The 4th floor was understated but refined, decorated everywhere with jade. Wasn't that even more expensive? It was undeniable proof that the owner of Golden Turtle Tower was seriously rich. Shanghai City was the most prosperous city on the nearby coast. It was a hub for trade among all the sea tribes and lands beyond. Of course there would be some seriously wealthy people. A middle-aged man in expensive clothes sat on a majestic crimson chair. Lu Yun had no idea what the chair was made of, but anyone could tell it was expensive. It had the vibe of something high-end, grand, and upscale. Lu Yun felt a pang of longing. He thought, from now on, the furniture in my castle needs to look like this. It needs to be high-end and luxurious at first glance. After all, it was where he would be living for the foreseeable future. He wasn't short on money, so why not live like a king? Section 92. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The folks lounging in the plush red chairs watched a waiter usher in new customers. Knowing the guy didn't look like a big spender, the greeters didn't bother to offer him a seat. He hurried over to us. "Welcome, esteemed guests." Lu Yun and the others gave a casual nod. The middle-aged owner then asked Wu Qing, "What do these VIPs need? Are they looking to buy something expensive?" Wu Qing quickly replied, "Sir, they're not here to buy. They're actually looking to sell you the Pearl of Life." "Oh." The owner perked up immediately. It had been a while since he'd acquired any Pearls of Life, and they were getting hard to find. Another one was definitely a win. Wu Qing noticed that the boss wasn't as excited as he expected. Realizing he hadn't made the full picture clear, he quickly added, "Sir, these are very important guests. They've brought a whole bag of life pearls to sell to our store." Even the seasoned owner's face changed. He asked for confirmation. "Are you sure you heard right? A bag of life pearls?" Usually, when life pearls surfaced, finding 2 or 3 at once was considered a big deal, maybe 4 or 5 at the most. A once-in-a-lifetime spectacle, but a whole bag? Unheard of. Wu Qing swore, "Sir, it's the truth. I saw it with my own eyes. That bag is overflowing with life pearls." Although the owner was reeling inside, he kept a poker face. He turned to Lu Yun, "Sir, do you truly have a bag of life pearls? They're not exactly common." Lu Yun, sensing the shopkeeper's skepticism, understood. "I mean, a bag of life pearls. Nobody just has that many life pearls lying around." Without a word, he opened his bag and held up a pearl of life for the owner to see. The owner's eyes narrowed in shock. It really was a pearl of life. And a quick count showed there were at least 10. The owner's sharp eyes had immediately sized up the contents of Lu Yun's bag. Suddenly energized, he greeted him warmly, clasping his hands in a respectful gesture. He said, "It's an honor to have you grace our shop. Sir, you must be someone of great importance to wield such power." That he continued with a smile, "Our store is in desperate need of life pearls right now. We've put up wanted ads all over town and in the surrounding cities. You probably know we're paying 1.2 million gold coins per pearl. It's a crazy price of 400,000 more than it's worth. So, are you planning to sell us all of your life pearls?" Lu Yun thought to himself, "With the amount of pearls I have, I should demand more." He directly raised the price. "Unless you offer 1.4 million gold coins per pearl, I'll take my business elsewhere to the highest bidder." The owner's smile faltered. "Look, to be honest, paying 1.2 million for a life pearl is already stretching our budget. We don't normally get these prices." Lu Yun countered, "Life pearls aren't easy to come by. And you won't find this many again, right? How will you explain this to the Lord of Blood Shark Castle if I walk out of here?" The owner realized this kid was sharp and saw through his game. Negotiating with him was going to be tough. He offered a compromise. "How about we meet in the middle? 1.3 million gold coins each, and I'll take all 10. Lu Yun immediately shook his head. "No, 1.4 million is the bottom line. Take it or leave it, I'm sure someone else will be happy to do business." Lu Yun was ready to walk. After all, life pearls were a rare commodity. He wouldn't have any trouble finding another buyer. The owner was torn. Even at 1.4 million a pearl, he'd still make a profit, just not as much. But then he considered that he was buying 10 at once. Even if he only made 100,000 gold coins per pearl, that was still 1 million gold coins total, a substantial gain. Besides, without Lu Yun, he wouldn't be able to complete the acquisition task assigned to him by the Lord of Blood Shark Castle. He had to keep Lu Yun here if possible. He gritted his teeth. "All right, since you have so many life pearls, I'll pay your price." Lu Yun smirked, secretly pleased with himself for pushing the price up. He had the owner right where he wanted him. The owner couldn't afford to let someone with so many life pearls walk out the door, so, as long as he broke even a small profit was enough to justify the purchase. Otherwise, explaining his failure to the Lord of Blood Shark Castle would be a nightmare. The shopkeeper, without any change of facial expression, instructed Wu Qing, "Go and call Butler Li, and get this esteemed guest's money. A total of 14 million gold coins." Then, changing the subject, he turned to Lu Yun. "Sir, could you show me all the life pearls? I need to inspect them. Those in the market often encounter fake items, of which the pearl of life being fake is very low. Once created, the colorful light will continue to overflow. This streamer effect is very difficult to fake. There must really be colorful streams of light. You can't create this streamer effect if you don't fake it. Therefore, there are almost no fakes in pearls of life." When he tests, he also wants to test the quality. Lu Yun didn't mind and handed over the life pearls for inspection. After a few minutes, the owner finished examining them. They were all real and top quality, at that. The money arrived quickly, in 14 large boxes. Lu Yun carefully checked each box, making sure there were 10,000 purple gold coins in each. Confirmed. The deal was done. Tsai, Naya, and Akalis were amazed by the sheer amount of money Lu Yun was receiving. Their brother, Master, was rolling in it. Especially after it was sent to the warehouse and multiplied. Lu Yun made a request. "Could you arrange a carriage for me to transport these gold coins to the Black Turtle outside the city? My people will come down to help." The owner looked surprised that he blurted out, "There's a huge black turtle outside the city. Is it yours, sir?" Lu Yun nodded. "Yes, it's mine." The owner gasped. This young man was clearly from a powerful family. To be able to command such a massive turtle, the family backing him must be incredibly powerful. The owner looked out the window of the 4th floor of the building. Just outside the city, the black turtle was as big as the LH mountain range. The black turtle was simply too huge. Section 93. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at it from this far, it still feels like it's right here. Back then, I was wondering, who does this black turtle belong to? They've got to be somebody special. And seeing it now, they definitely are. How many people can just casually drop 10 life pearls like that? Right then, I knew not to underestimate Lu Yun. I said respectfully, "All right, I'll get our guards to escort those purple gold coins to wherever you need them. You can count on us." After all, Jingwalu handles some seriously big deals. Security is always a concern when moving money around. Over time, they've built up a crack team of guards to protect those shipments. Gotta keep the goods and money safe, otherwise, they wouldn't stay in business for long. Lu Yun wasn't entirely convinced it was all their people handling the transport, so he told his personal guard Akalis, "Go back with the carriage and make sure those 140,000 purple gold coins get to the warehouse. Safe and sound." Akalis knew what was at stake. 140,000 purple gold coins is already a crazy amount of cash, so there was no room for error. "Yes, master," that he took the order and headed out. Next, Lu Yun took the initiative and said, "So, besides selling you the life pearls, I'm also looking to buy two things, a colorful spirit crystal, and a Tianlingzi. Do you happen to have any?" Hearing that, the shopkeeper understood that these were the two key ingredients for crafting. Black turtle internal energy beads, 0109 Tianlingzi acquired, and black turtle inner energy bead, auctioned. The shopkeeper was even more impressed with Lu Yun, because very few people have the skills to actually refine the black turtle inner energy bead. You need to be a master weaponsmith to pull it off. Even if you have all the ingredients, most people still can't make it. After all, the black turtle inner energy bead is a seriously high-end treasure. You can't just whip it up. He answered truthfully, "Sir, we don't have any colorful spirit crystals in stock right now. But as for the Tianlingzi, we just got a shipment in not long ago." Lu Yun perked up at that. "Oh. How many do you have?" "I'll buy them all." The shopkeeper replied, "Not many. They're extremely rare and precious, you know. Only slightly more common than the life pearl. I've got 9 on hand." 0.9 was a lot. After he multiplied it, there were 900 pills, enough for Josephine to practice all day. He immediately said, "How much do you want for them?" "I'll take them all, shopkeeper." If Lu Yun needed it, the price didn't matter. He was prepared to pay whatever it took. Why? Because his 100 gold coins were essentially just one gold coin to him. When other people buy something, they just get one. If he buys one, he can turn it into 100 instantly. Those two transactions were equal to him getting what he wanted at 1/10,000th of the price. So what was the bargain? Buy whatever you want. For example, he appeared to receive 140,000 purple gold coins, but by the time it hit his warehouse, it was actually 14 million purple gold coins, converted into gold coins. That would be a staggering 1.4 billion. It was simply insane. So, he could spend some more money to buy this Tianlingzi. Buy one, get 100, there was no reason not to spend the money. So, he put his wealth on display, not afraid of the shopkeeper raising the price. As long as it wasn't too absurd, Lu Yun would gladly pay. "Seeing as you just sold me 10 life pearls and got me out of a jam, I won't play hardball with the price of these 9 Tianlingzi. Just give me 2 million gold coins. Usually, these sell for over 200,000 gold coins apiece." Lu Yun considered it. As a key ingredient for the black turtle inner energy bead, and also being so rare, 200,000 apiece probably wasn't too bad. He agreed at once. "All right, shopkeeper, bring out the Tianlingzi and let me take a look." The shopkeeper signaled someone to bring the Tianlingzi. Lu Yun picked one up. It felt surprisingly heavy, way heavier than ordinary wood. Tianlingzi, the fruit of the Tianling tree. A tree will only bear one fruit. After it ripens, the tree withers. But today's spirit child wasn't the seed of this tree. Its seeds grow underground and produce many fruits like potatoes. One by one, this Tianlingzi wasn't a seed or a fruit, but a round ball of hardwood, extremely heavy, extremely hard, harder than steel. To this day, nobody knows exactly what it is. Now that Lu Yun understood what fine iron was, he couldn't help but guess, could this Tianlingzi be fine wood? A huge amount of wood condensed, squeezed, and refined into this strange thing. Whatever it was definitely the most important ingredient for refining. Black turtle internal energy bead. having acquired the 9 Tian Lingzi, it was time to pay, but Lu Yun's money was still being transported to the warehouse. He really didn't have 2 million gold coins on hand, so, he smiled and said to the shopkeeper, "How about you send someone to my Xian turtle place and have my people bring over 20,000 purple gold coins?" That the shopkeeper looked puzzled, "Since you're buying something, and you just got 140,000 purple gold coins, why not just leave 2 boxes here? No need to bother with all the back and forth," but Lu Yun had his reasons, which he wouldn't share. 1 box of purple gold coins he shipped back turned into 100 boxes, if he paid with just 2 boxes, wouldn't that be like paying with 200 boxes? No way were 9 heavenly spirit suns that expensive. The shopkeeper didn't understand, but what could he do? He had no choice but to keep sending people to Xuangui's place outside the city for the money. Once the shopkeeper received the 20,000 purple gold coins from Lu Yun, the 2 transactions were complete. Both men were happy with how things went. As Lu Yun was leaving, he asked casually, "Since you don't have colorful spiritual crystals here, I'll have to look elsewhere. You've probably got better info on Xinghai City than I do. Where do you think I could find some?" Seeing that Lu Yun was generous and seemingly well-connected, the shopkeeper was eager to make friends, so, he offered a helpful tip: "Check out the Tianqing auction house in the east of the city. They're having a huge auction right now. Big crowds, lots of buzz. I heard someone mention that they'd be auctioning off some colorful spiritual crystals. If you hurry, you might still make it." "Oh. Really?" Lu Yun was pleasantly surprised. "What a coincidence. Thanks for the heads up, shopkeeper. I'll try my luck at the auction." Lu Yun asked around and made his way to Tianqing auction house. Sure enough, the place was packed. Apparently, the annual auction was happening right now, 5 days total, and today was day 2. Lu Yun and the girls got verified and entered the venue. Right now, they were auctioning off some kind of treasure armor. The host was enthusiastically describing the materials and the defense capabilities. Lu Yun couldn't care less. "Please give me flowers 0. I've got Joseph gold. I can build whatever kind of defensive armor I want. Plus, fine iron armor will become more common soon, so we'll be looking down on this ordinary armor even more. 7. Of course, anything sold at such a big auction must be pretty special, but compared to treasure armor made of fine iron, it's nothing special. Maybe everyone just really valued their lives." Bidding for this treasured armor was hot, and the auction actually reached a small climax. Meanwhile, Lu Yun took the opportunity to ask the people around him, "Any chance they'll be auctioning off colorful spirit crystals next?" That he even let on that he was only there for the crystals. Section 94. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a few filler items, the host announced the next lot, a vibrant spiritual crystal. Lu Yun grinned. Perfect timing. He'd bide his time until the crystal was up for grabs. Next, following a piece of Baojia armor, was an antique, supposedly rare and valuable. Lu Yun couldn't care less. Antiques were just for show, no practical use. Sure, having one in your place was a status symbol, but Lu Yun wasn't shopping for decorations. The antique ended up going for a whopping 1.7 million gold coins. Guess it really was valuable. The next item, though, caught Lu Yun's eye instantly. This asterisk he had to have. Time to make a move. The host presented 3 black turtle inner energy beads. For Lu Yun, these were a goldmine. They wouldn't double the turtle's energy, but 3 beads would seriously boost it. Xian turtle only had 7 to begin with, so adding 3 would bring the total to 10. That's almost a 50% increase in the black turtle's overall energy. The host began his pitch. He droned on about how amazing these beads were for black turtles, how much energy they added, how they'd improve combat skills and abilities across the board. Basically, he was pumping them up as much as possible to drive up the bids. Finally, he got to the point. Alright, let the bidding for these black turtle inner energy beads begin. We're selling all 3 together. Starting bid, 800,000 gold coins. Minimum increase, 10,000 gold coins. 850,000. 900,000. 1,000,000. 1,100,000. Hold on there. 1.2 million. The room exploded with bids, the price skyrocketing. Lu Yun was surprised. These things were hot. Bids were coming from everywhere. Lu Yun decided it was time to shut them down. Nobody was outbidding him. He had just turned 140,000 purple gold coins into 14 million, or 1.4 billion gold coins. These measly millions were pocket change. I'll go 1.5 million. Back off. Ha. You know what these things usually go for? 1.8 million. Fine. I'm going all in. 2 million. Mr. Zhang will have these 3 black turtle inner energy beads. The crowd started to thin, the bids slowing down. Time to drop the hammer. Lu Yun stood up. 3 million gold coins. If anyone wants to bid higher, be my guest. They're yours. The room went silent. 3 million. Just like that. Who was this guy? This was blatant arrogance. Was anyone going to challenge him? The whole place was stunned. Everyone turned to stare at Lu Yun. He was young, maybe not even out of his teens, but handsome, rich and good-looking. And flanked by 2 absolutely stunning women. Just looking at them was enough to make your jaw drop. Suddenly, no one doubted Lu Yun's wealth. No ordinary guy could roll with 2 beauties like that. Mr. Zhang, who had been so confident before, visibly paled. His face twitched. He wanted to bid higher, but 3 million was already a crazy price. Was it worth blowing that much on 3 black turtle inner energy beads? And if he did bid, this guy was just going to back out, leaving him stuck with the purchase. He thought it over, gritted his teeth, and gave up. Seeing that no one else was bidding, the host started his countdown, trying to pressure the room. Okay, this young man bids 3 million. What a generous offer. That price has silenced the room. Looks like no one else is willing to compete. 3 million going once. Last chance. Anyone want to go higher? Alright, no more bids. 3 million going twice. 3 million, sold. To the young man in the front. Sir, please come backstage to finalize the purchase. Lu Yun turned to Tsai and Naya. Wait here, I'll be right back. Okay, brother. Lu Yun went backstage, where the manager greeted him with a huge smile. He showered Lu Yun with praise. How rich, generous, and powerful he was, dropping 3 million like it was nothing and intimidating everyone in the room. Then, he brought out the 3 black turtle inner energy beads for Lu Yun to inspect. He asked how Lu Yun would like to pay. Lu Yun didn't exactly look like he was carrying 3 million gold coins on him. Lu Yun told them to contact the head of the Black Turtle clan outside the city. His people would deliver the money. He also added that they should tell his people to bring 10 more boxes of purple gold coins. He might be bidding on something else later. The manager's eyes widened. 10 more boxes of purple gold coins. This kid was seriously loaded. Each box had 10,000 coins. That meant 1 million gold coins per box. 10 boxes was 10 million gold coins. He immediately became incredibly respectful, not daring to underestimate Lu Yun for a second. Of course, sir. We'll do exactly as you say. Great. Just wait for my people to deliver the money, then you can give me the beads. The manager practically tripped over himself to agree. Yes, sir. Absolutely. No problem at all. Lu Yun left the backstage area and returned to his seat. He noticed that the current item up for auction was a life pearl. Now that was valuable. He'd gotten rich twice now thanks to that thing. Section 95. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lu Yun was down to his last 15 pills. Truthfully, his stock was getting dangerously low. He needed to grab these whenever he had the chance to replenish his supplies, so, if another one popped up, he had to snag it, because once he got his hands on it, it would turn into 100 pills. He had to win this, no matter the cost. Right now, the price was already at 1.1 million gold coins, nearing what Golden Guildhall would pay. Normally, a pearl of life floated around the million mark. The price someone needing it would pay is different than what a merchant would. Merchants usually only shell out 800,000 and still turn a profit reselling. If Golden Guildhall wasn't backing this auction, he doubted anyone would bid as high as 1.1 million. I'll go 1.2 million. Even selling it back to Golden Guildhall at this price, I won't lose money. Anyone wants to go higher, be my guest. I'm out. He was taking a page out of Lu Yun's book. 1.25 million. Pearls of life are getting harder to find, and they're worth their weight in gold. This is a rare chance, so I'm biting the bullet. 300,000 more. That's already a crazy price. Let's not get carried away, or we'll all lose out. Oh, are you done? This pearl of life is mine. Dongfang Xuan says, I tell you. 1.5 million, that the 1.5 million price tag sent a shockwave through the audience. There were just too many deep pockets to compete with. Dongfang Xuanzi saw he had silenced the room, a smug grin spread across his face, basking in the attention. Alright, the host chimed in, seeing the energy dip. 1.5 million for a pearl of life was already insane. The auctioneer was thrilled. He immediately began to hype things up. Looks like Mr. Dongfang has locked this one down. No one else. 1.5 million going once. Just then, Lu Yun got back to his seat, after a quick hello to Tsai and Naya. Before he could even get comfortable, he boomed, who says nobody else? Am I a ghost? I bid 2 million gold coins. Instantly, the place went wild. Everyone craned their necks, who was bidding so aggressively. When they saw it was Lu Yun again, some couldn't help but whisper. Him again. Who is this guy? He's always throwing money around. Oh my god, he just dropped 3 million on 3 black turtle inner energy beads, and now he's dropping 2 million on a pearl of life. How loaded is this dude? It's crazy. 5 million gone like it's nothing. Which big shots kid is this? His family must be loaded, or he couldn't afford this kind of spending. Everyone figured Lu Yun had to come from serious money. Better not mess with him, or you might face the wrath of his powerful family. Dongfang Xuanzi, who had declared the pearl of life his, turned pale. He just couldn't match Lu Yun's resources. He'd come to the auction with a little over 3 million, and Lu Yun had already blown 3 million on those black turtle inner energy beads. Now he was offering a ridiculous 2 million for the pearl of life he wanted. He was clearly outgunned, but he'd already run his mouth, making it tough to back down. Gritting his teeth, he forced out 2.2 million gold coins. You really want to go there with me? It's already a fortune. I said I was taking this one home. Ha! Lu Yun scoffed, casually upping the ante, 3 million. No way. The place erupted again. This guy was out of his mind, right? Was he just going to keep raising the price like that? He had an endless supply of cash. Who would even try to compete with him? He sincerely begged for subscriptions, and full subscriptions too. Brothers, sisters, uncles and aunts, come and order everything. 0111 Do you dare to touch me? Destroy your Shanghai city. Shocked the whole audience. 0111 Do you dare to touch me? Destroy your Shanghai city. Shocked the whole audience. 3 million. Unbelievable. Dongfang Xuanzi cursed under his breath. Buying a pearl of life for 3 million was insane. Only a lunatic would pay that much. Pearls of life were rare and valuable, sure, but 3 million? How much was that, even? Did he have any idea? He knew he couldn't compete. He had to swallow his pride and drop out. With Dongfang Xuanzi gone, nobody else dared bid on the pearl of life at that sky-high price. Lu Yun had scored another win. This time, even the host was sucking up like crazy. He was heaping praise on Lu Yun from every angle, going on and on about what a great guy he was, such a unique young master in the world. I have never seen such a noble master act so boldly, and so on. Then Lu Yun went backstage to talk with the owner. The owner smiled when he saw Lu Yun entering the palace for the second time. Lu Yun didn't know that his casual 3 million bid had sent ripples through the crowd. At the VIP table, someone was watching him with cold eyes. He thought to himself, if you mess with something I want, you'll learn what pain really is. The host then presented the next item. Next up, we have a peculiar crystal called the colorful spiritual crystal. It contains mysterious energy, and we're still figuring out what it does. The ancients used it to make black turtle inner energy beads. This is the main ingredient for those. But it has more potential. It gives off beautiful red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple light. It's constantly changing colors, especially gorgeous at night. It's packed with energy, but other than making those beads, we haven't cracked how to use it. Once we figure it out, the price will explode. It's a great investment. We have 10 colorful spiritual crystals today. They're being sold as a set, starting at 2 million gold coins. Bids must go up by at least 10,000. Let the bidding begin. As the host described the crystals, Lu Yun studied them closely. With his enhanced vision, he could see them clearly. These crystals gave off rainbow light, just like the Pearl of Life, but the light was different. The Pearl of Life showed all 7 colors at once. The colorful spiritual crystals cycled through the colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, one color at a time. It only lasted a moment, making the colors flash and change. The red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple kept cycling through the crystal stones. It was a little hypnotic, to be honest. Seeing this, Lu Yun had to wonder, what were these colorful spiritual crystals exactly? What was the difference between their light and the Pearl of Life's? Why didn't anyone on this continent know how to tap into their energy? So many questions, drawing Lu Yun in. Needless to say, buying these crystals was Lu Yun's main reason for coming to Shanghai City. Section 96. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, we finally have 10 crystals. Time to make a move. Nobody's taking these from us, that's what Lu Yun said. Then things went sideways, fast. The auction had barely started when a voice boomed from a VIP box in the back. 2.5 million gold coins for the set of 10 rainbow crystals. Consider them bought and paid for by my young master. Anyone who bids against him will regret it. Big time. Huh. What the? That the whole room was buzzing. This was a Tianqing auction. Who did this guy think he was? Someone immediately piped up, who's your young master? What gives him the right to act like that? Yeah. Give us a name. Let's see if he can back up that attitude. That the crowd was getting restless, then a frigid voice cut through the noise from the VIP room. I'm Len Wutian. Anyone got a problem with that? Ah. Young Master Leng. Hiss, it's him. Guess I'll pass on those rainbow crystals. Not worth the trouble. That arrogant prince again. Figures. His family's too powerful. He gets away with everything. If Mr. Leng says not to bid, nobody's gonna bid. That the place was a sea of murmurs. Lu Yun was stunned that everyone was backing down, just rolling over and taking it. Anyone who even thought about bidding was suddenly quiet. This Mr. Leng must be seriously connected to throw that kind of weight around, enough to cow the richest people in the city. Think about who shows up at an auction like this. Every family here's got money and influence, but they were all getting steamrolled by Mr. Leng's attitude. That's how you knew he was untouchable. But no matter how powerful this Leng guy was, Lu Yun wasn't about to let these crystals go. They were too important right now. Who knows when he'd find another 10 together. This was his chance, and he couldn't blow it. He made up his mind. Come what may, he stood up tall and shouted for the whole room to hear, 3 million. Whoa! The room just exploded. It wasn't about the money. Mr. Leng had just laid down the law. No more bids, period. And this hotshot who just won 2 items in a row, this arrogant dude, he was openly defying Mr. Leng. Calling his bluff right in public. Now everyone figured they were about to see a major showdown. Time to see how Leng Wutian handled this. Meanwhile, everyone was scrambling to figure out, who was this defiant guy? He clearly wasn't messing around. He wasn't afraid of Leng Wutian, which meant he had to have some serious power of his own. If some nobody dared to stand up to Mr. Leng, everyone would write him off as suicidal. But Lu Yun challenging Leng Wutian? That made people think he might actually have a chance. That was the difference. Even Leng Wutian was caught off guard. He gritted his teeth, thinking, this guy's trying to screw up my auction. Who does he think he is? After he dropped his name, after he basically shut down the entire room, this guy still dared to bid? Did he have a death wish? And the aura that Lu Yun exuded, its presence was very palpable, making people feel its depth. On top of everything, Leng Wuqian had never seen this guy before, seemed like he just materialized in Xinghai City. Nobody knew where he came from, that uncertainty was what gave Mr. Leng pause, but then he snapped back to reality. He was Leng Wuqian, son of Leng Wuya, the lord of Xinghai City. His dad ran the whole city. Didn't matter how big this guy was somewhere else, in Xinghai City, he was walking into Leng Wuqian's world. Leng Wuqian called the shots here. He jumped to his feet and yelled, "Let's see who thinks they can disrespect Leng Wuqian. You got a death wish or something?" Everyone in the audience watched Leng Wuqian storm out of the VIP box. They all sucked in a breath and braced themselves. Lu Yun wasn't about to start a shouting match. He just said, "You gonna raise the price or what? If not, these 10 rainbow crystals are mine." Leng Wuqian was seeing red. "I just said anyone who bids against me is dead. Guards! Get him!" Suddenly, the place was swarming with guards, swords drawn, 3 deep inside, 3 deep outside. They locked down the auction house. Lu Yun didn't even flinch. He roared, "You think you're so tough with a few soldiers? You lay a hand on me, I'll level Xinghai City to the ground." Whoa! The room went wild again. Lu Yun was really upping the ante here. No fear at all, Lu Yun howled, "Take a good look outside the city." Leng Wuqian couldn't help but turn to see what he was talking about. Squatting outside the city gate was a massive, black turtle, so huge, so obvious, nobody could miss that several 100-foot tall turtle. "Show them what you got," Lu Yun screamed, and then, sure enough, out by the city gate, that mountain of a turtle, slowly started to rise. The huge, endless body creaked into motion, lifting higher and higher until it towered over the gate. Then it kept climbing, far past the gate, reaching a height of 600-700 feet. The turtle stood tall at last. Everyone stared at the towering turtle, standing like a colossus between heaven and earth. Huh! Every face in the room changed, stunned. Even Leng Wuqian's jaw dropped when he saw that. Section 97. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But I never expected Lu Yun would own such a massive black turtle. And the sheer power of the thing was unbelievable. Even Leng Wuqian, arrogant and domineering as he was instantly cowed. It wasn't that Xinghai City couldn't handle a giant turtle like that, but this kid was so young, and he could control it. He couldn't have trained it himself. His family must have helped him raise such a beast. Which meant the power behind him was definitely nothing to sneeze at. No wonder Leng Wuqian was getting nervous. Killing the kid would be easy. As for the turtle outside the city, the whole city was on high alert. They could definitely hold off the turtle's attack. But if this kid got killed, his powerful family would come down on them like a ton of bricks. Not only Leng Wuqian would be toast, but Xinghai City itself might get wiped off the map. So, it wasn't that Xinghai City was scared of Lu Yun, they were just getting antsy about who was backing him. Sure, Leng Wuqian was a big shot in Xinghai City, used to throwing his weight around, but he wasn't a complete idiot. He knew how the world worked. There's always someone bigger and badder out there. He could bully everyone in Xinghai City without a second thought, but the world didn't end at Xinghai City. Compared to the entire fairy continent, their city was just a speck of dust. He immediately put on a calm face and said, "Well, I'll be. Turns out you're someone important. No wonder you dare to talk back to me, Leng Wuqian, in Xinghai City. But you think a giant turtle can take down our city? You're seriously underestimating our defenses. If that turtle so much as takes one step closer to the gate, you'll see what happens. The city defense formation will lock you down faster than you can blink. You'll be stuck here like a bug in a jar. Where do you think you're going to run?" Lu Yun noticed the guy's tone had changed. He wasn't all tough talk anymore, threatening to kill him at the drop of a hat. The second he saw the black turtle, he started trying to reason with him, which meant he was sweating bullets. He wasn't just afraid of the turtle itself. Someone who could control a beast like that had to have powerful connections. So, Lu Yun decided to play the "Do you know who my father is?" card. Putting on a show, he said, I can't believe the heir of Xiangui City is acting so cocky in front of me. Even if you called your old man, he'd be on his knees the second he saw me. Who do you think you are, acting all high and mighty with me?" Before Lu Yun even arrived on the fairy continent, he'd done his homework about the general layout of things. He got the info from Tsai and Xiaobelong. The fairy continent was huge, with 4 major empires. Qinghai City was in the Tiando Empire. The Tiando Empire ran on a feudal system. The princes all left the capital when they came of age. They'd head to their assigned territories and set up shop. That meant becoming a lord. Some princes ruled over massive territories with huge armies, some were less lucky, with smaller lands and weaker forces, but either way, they were still princes, not much difference there. Since there were so many princes in the Tiando Empire, thousands of them, big and small. The old kings, the new kings, as long as you were a direct descendant of the emperor, you could get a royal title. No one could possibly keep track of all the kings, so Lu Yun decided to play the prince card. Who could call him out? Who knew which territory he ruled? Who would dare mess with him, if he was playing the royalty card? Plus, given the situation, people would probably believe him. What? Sure enough, when Lu Yun dropped that bomb, the whole crowd went wild. Everyone was in shock. This fancy kid was claiming to be a prince. Was he for real? If so, Leng Wuqian was screwed. The royal family was not to be trifled with. Any local force that tried to challenge the crown got stomped out fast. Leng Wuqian had just pissed off a prince. If he wanted to press the issue, even his dad, City Lord Leng Wuya, couldn't save his skin. When Leng Wuqian heard Lu Yun claiming to be royalty, he started sweating bullets. Unsure, he asked, "You're really a prince?" "You know, in our Tiando Empire, anyone who pretends to be royal gets executed along with their family. And impersonating a prince? That's a capital crime, and they'll wipe out your entire lineage." Lu Yun scoffed. "You don't think I'm a prince? Go ahead, try to touch me. You." Leng Wuqian was at a standstill. He really couldn't risk it, until he was sure of the other guy's identity. He had to play it safe and treat him like royalty. If he really was a prince and he laid a hand on him, the whole Leng family would be done for. Lu Yun was stunned by Leng Wuqian's reaction. He was secretly cracking up on the inside. Even Tsai and Naya, who were standing behind him, could barely hold back their laughter. They had been with Lu Yun the whole time. He had just arrived on the fairy continent today. What prince was he? Lu Yun's plan was simple. If you can wave a flag, wave it, even if it backfired and the whole Tiando Empire turned against him, so what? In 10 days, tops, he'd be out of this world anyway. Where would they find him then? At worst, he'd leave a fake prince to stir up trouble in the Tiando Empire and then disappear without a trace. Nobody would ever know where he went. At that moment, the little white dragon sensed Lu Yun's situation. Arg! He let out a deafening dragon roar that shook the heavens and the earth. The ultrasonic roar blasted out in all directions, ripping through the air. It reached the ears of everyone in Qinghai City, rattling their eardrums. As the terrifying roar continued, everyone felt the air buzzing and vibrating around them. The roar was unbelievably loud. Everyone in the auction venue was stunned by the roar and had no idea what was going on. Then, from the back of the black turtle outside the city, a giant white dragon rose into the air. The roar had stopped everyone in their tracks. They all noticed the dragon rising from the turtle's back. The whole city went wild. Everyone was shouting in amazement, "Look! A dragon! Everybody, look! A white dragon is flying on the back of the giant black turtle. Oh my God, a giant black turtle and a white dragon. Who owns that turtle? This is unbelievable. A dragon is flying in the sky. It's the first time I've ever seen one with my own eyes." "Me too. I've only heard stories about dragons. I've never actually seen one before. Dragons are incredibly noble and rare creatures. It's no surprise that ordinary people like us never get to see one. It's a huge honor to witness a dragon in person." "A dragon. Kneel down and make a wish." Many of the citizens were overjoyed to see a dragon in the sky for the first time. Some were so excited that they knelt down and prayed to the white dragon. But the most shocking thing was what happened next. After the little white dragon took flight, he flew straight toward the auction venue. Everyone in the venue watched the dragon fly toward them. It was headed right for them. Section 98. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No way. Before anyone knew it, a massive dragon, easily over 600 feet long, touched down right in the middle of the auction. Well, okay, it was mostly head, with a relatively smaller body attached, that landed in the open area. A crowd had gathered, pressed up against the walls surrounding the venue. The dragon's arrival flattened several nearby structures. Whoa! As the dragon settled in the center, appearing in its full, majestic glory, the crowd gasped. For almost everyone there, this was their first time seeing a real dragon up close. Meanwhile, Leng Wuqian, the jerk who started all this, turned sheet white at the sight of the dragon. Then, something even more shocking happened, something that left everyone speechless. In a booming voice, the little white dragon declared, "Master, Liao Wanghao, sensed you were in trouble, so I came to protect you." Then, with genuine concern, he asked, "Master, are you all right?" Huh? OMG, I can't believe this. Wait, a dragon is calling a human master. A creature as magnificent as a dragon submitted to that young noble? I'm blown away. The dragon just called him master. I believe it now. This young noble is definitely a prince, a real royal. That the whole place erupted in excitement, stunned by the scene unfolding before them. Author's note about low readership numbers removed for translation purposes. 0.0113 Leng Wuqian loses his head and his way home. The enormous white dragon crashing into the auction and calling Lu Yun master didn't just shock the bystanders. It terrified Leng Wuqian. He understood the implications better than anyone. How proud and untamable are dragons. They would rather die than serve a human. For a dragon to willingly acknowledge a human as its master, that human would have to possess incredible power to impress the dragon, and a strong self-esteem. And in this magical world, there are not many humans who can be recognized by dragons. Only the royal family has tamed so many dragons. In other words, it is possible for members of the royal family to tame a real dragon. And he must be an extremely high status and extremely important member of the royal family. Only then do you have the strength and qualifications to tame the real dragon. And how old is the boy in front of me? A giant dragon has been successfully tamed. The giant white dragon just kept calling Master Lu Yun. This means that he is the tamer of the dragon. This dragon does not belong to his relatives, nor to his elders. He brought it out to show off. It's his own. What does this mean? This shows that its own strength is already extremely strong. Strong enough to make even a dragon convinced and succumb to him. It also shows that his status in the royal family is also very high. Your status in the royal family is not high. No matter how strong your personal ability is, you are not qualified, and you will not be allowed to tame a dragon alone. Dragons are very rare. How could it be possible for an unimportant person to tame one? Leng Wuqian began to tremble. His whole body shook with fear. He had always been the big man in Shanghai City, never facing a real threat. Now, it turned out he'd messed with a prince, and a high-ranking one at that. Even a kingdom couldn't stand against the Tiando Empire's royal family. And his influence barely extended beyond the city. A prince of the empire could wipe out a city with a snap of his fingers. Suddenly nervous, he stammered, "Why, you're really a prince. I offer my respects." That he actually bowed deeply. Whoa! Another murmur rippled through the crowd. This was unprecedented. Leng Wuqian, the terror of Shanghai City, was surrendering. It was something no one had ever seen, but thinking about it, the young noble's identity as a prince was pretty much confirmed. In that case, Leng Wuqian wouldn't dare mess with him. Before Lu Yun could even respond, the little white dragon flared up, snapping, "You little ant. You dare to cross my master." That his eyes blazed with draconic power. Leng Wuqian's legs turned to jelly, and he collapsed to his knees. I am sorry, noble dragon. I didn't know who your master was. I was out of line." But as Leng Wuqian knelt in apology, a sword flashed, thwack, blood sprayed. Leng Wuqian's head flew off, bouncing on the ground. The sudden turn of events stunned everyone. What? The crowd fell silent. What happened? Why did Prince Leng's head just fall off? Did anyone see anything? How did that happen? I can't believe Lin Wuqian's gone like that. Who did this? How did they do it? The Imperial Prince's methods are terrifying, taking a life without a sound. If I knew your master was here, I wouldn't dare say a word. Lin Wuqian, who was kneeling on the ground, had his neck cut open, and his head rolled on the ground, a gaping wound on his neck. The bystanders were shocked, even Lu Yun was stunned. It was completely unexpected. But after a moment of surprise, Lu Yun understood. Hadn't he asked the auction house owner to get money from Black Turtle after buying the 2 items? Section 99. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Also, bring 10 more boxes of purple gold coins. Turns out it was Akali's, the night elf, who personally led the team here. The moment he walked in, someone was already making threats. He immediately went invisible and quietly moved into position. Then, seeing Lin Wuqian on his knees begging for his life, he sliced off his head. Now things have seriously escalated. Even if Lu Yun wasn't directly involved, everyone's going to assume he was. Besides, it was one of Lu Yun's guys who did it. Even if Lu Yun didn't order it, Lin Wuqian's entourage, plus the 3 rings of sword-wielding guards surrounding the place, when they saw Lin Wuqian's head roll and blood splatter everywhere, they completely freaked out. They're all responsible for failing to protect the young master. But the guy on the other side is likely a prince of the empire, so nobody dares make a move. So, even with the prince assassinated right in front of them, the soldiers just stood there, frozen. You can imagine the kind of power someone who controls a dragon has. Especially now that the dragon's also protecting the emperor. Even if they did move, they wouldn't stand a chance. But some of the smarter soldiers started panicking and spreading the word. This is bad. The prince is dead, and we're all screwed. Someone go get the city lord, so he can deal with this imperial prince and figure out what to do. 3 or 5 soldiers, white as ghosts, scrambled to leave. Meanwhile, Akali's, the dark elf, still hidden in the shadows, sent Lu Yun a secret signal. She didn't reveal herself yet. She was still lurking, ready to handle whatever came next. Akali's specialty is going invisible. Poof. Gone. Her job is to protect Lu Yun, silently and closely. She can appear and disappear to easily assassinate anyone who gets in the way. She's good at both protection and assassination, and they don't clash. Hearing Akali's signal, Lu Yun knew for sure Lin Wuqian was dead because of her. Honestly, Lu Yun never planned on killing Lin Wuqian. After all, he was the city lord's son, and that's just asking for trouble. But now that he's dead, Lu Yun had to adapt and make plans accordingly. Lu Yun wasn't losing any sleep over Lin Wuqian's death. He was a spoiled, arrogant jerk, a total cliché. He was always throwing his weight around Shanghai City, loud, obnoxious, acting like the law didn't apply to him. He was a walking karma magnet. If Lu Yun had killed him himself, the whole city would have cheered. Everyone would be secretly celebrating the bully's demise, right? Then they'd be grateful to Lu Yun, and his reputation would improve. But now isn't the time to worry about reputation, but to deal with what's happening right now. That's the priority. Lu Yun wasn't about to give back the items he just bought. He's not walking away from the colorful spirit crystals that didn't sell. So, ready to make a run for it, he angrily shouted at the soldiers surrounding the auction house. What are you still standing around for? You gonna arrest me? Get lost. If I want to leave, I'll just hop on my dragon. Think you can stop me? Go tell your city lord to come kiss my black tortoise. By now, the soldiers were almost convinced Lu Yun really was a prince of the empire. Who else could have this kind of power? This kind of entourage? And a real dragon for a pet. So, they all exchanged nervous glances. Not wanting to screw up any further, they spontaneously retreated. With the soldiers gone, Lu Yun forced a smile, pretending to be calm. For the 10 colorful spirit crystals from earlier, I'll offer 3 million gold coins. Anybody want to bid higher? Go for it. After that, who dared to raise the price? What if they offered more? Could they even compete with him? His wealth was clearly bottomless. He'd already dropped 6 million gold coins like it was nothing. If he really wanted those 10 colorful spirit crystals, nobody else stood a chance, right? The place went silent. Nobody dared to bid, so, Lu Yun won the item again. He had the elf girls carry boxes of coins to the auction house backstage. Back there, the boss looked at Lu Yun with new eyes. He was totally stunned, confused, and trembling. he never saw it coming, this kid was actually a prince of the empire. Scared stiff, he handed over the goods to Lu Yun. After paying, Lu Yun took 3 black tortoise inner energy pearls, 1 life pearl, and 10 colorful spirit crystals, and left, loaded down with treasure. He, Sai, Naya, and the Konoha elf girls climbed onto the little white dragon, and then they flew off, riding the dragon. To the sounds of envious gasps, Lu Yun and the giant white dragon soared into the sky and disappeared, headed straight for the giant black tortoise waiting outside the city. Please subscribe. 011 For the city lord gave Lu Yun 1 million purple gold coins, just to save his life. Plenty of people in Shanghai City watched Lu Yun and the girls fly away on the dragon. It blew their minds. They figured the dragon had flown into the city from the back of the black tortoise to pick up its master, but the end result was, it took Lu Yun and the others away, back on the black tortoise. Lu Yun didn't leave right away. Instead, he fed it 3 black tortoise inner energy pearls. Now it had 10. Inside its shell, it had way more energy to draw from. At the same time, he put the newly acquired life pearl into the advanced warehouse. Suddenly, it multiplied to 100, adding to the 15 pearls that were already in there. Lu Yun now had 115 life pearls. He could do a lot with that. Exchange them for a lot of money. Lu Yun realized the Ocean family's sacred life pearl had become his go-to currency. Most people would struggle to get their hands on even 2 or 3 of those things. Lu Yun could pull out a bunch without breaking a sweat. Then, he put all the 7 colored spirit crystals, and heavenly spirits, he just bought into the warehouse. They turned into 1,000, 7 colored spirit crystals, and 900, heavenly spirits. That's enough to make 900, black tortoise inner energy pearls. For Joseph King to work with, he should be able to refine a lot more than before. By then, he'd have a mountain of black tortoise inner energy pearls. His black tortoise would evolve to a whole new level. Of course, the final yield depends on how many giant pearls Joseph King can find this time, but those kinds of resources aren't exactly easy to come by. Even if he doesn't find much in Shanghai City, he can always look in other coastal cities later, so there's no need to stress about the giant pearls. With all that done, Lu Yun just had to wait for Joseph Jean to come back, and for the Lord of Shanghai City to show up and pay his respects. With the show he put on, nobody would dare claim he wasn't a prince of the Tiando Empire. Lu Yun was sure the Lord of Shanghai City wouldn't risk crossing him. Even if he saw through the disguise and tried to attack, Lu Yun wasn't worried. After all, his black tortoise was fully charged now. Section 100. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The turtle alone supports enough elite soldiers and generals to wipe the floor with any ordinary army. His militia? They weren't just well-equipped, they were freaks of nature. One of them could take on 20 guys, easy, and the bugbears he bred? Those were just straight-up war beasts. One of those could chew through 100 regular soldiers without breaking a sweat. Then you had the Konoha elf mages, high-level soldiers who never missed, raining down long-range damage on the enemy from way out. His artillery could bring the hammer down with massive firepower, turning entire swathes of the enemy into dust. And let's not forget the 100 little white jade dragons, always ready for a scrap. Finally, he had heroes like Xiaobeilong, Sai, Naya, Akalis, Yoskin, and others in his corner. Even if his camp wasn't huge, it was still more than a match for your average city guard. You'd need a real army to take him down. Lu Yun might actually sweat a little if he went up against the Empire's best troops. Sure enough, when Lin Wuya, the city lord of Shanghai City, heard that some imperial prince had shown up in his town, that this prince had beef with his son, and even killed him, he was fit to be tied. First things first, he needed to confirm if this prince stuff was legit. And which prince was it, anyway? After learning they hadn't nailed down exactly which prince it was, he dug into every single detail of the incident. Hearing what went down, he started to cool off a little. Based on his gut feeling, anyone who could tame a dragon, keep it loyal, and have it answer to his every whim, had to be someone with serious connections. Plus, he was so young. That made it even more likely he was a big shot in the empire, because even the royal family, with all their power and resources, couldn't just hand out dragons. Only the princes with the most talent and those favored by the royals would even get a shot at taming a dragon at that age. Thinking about it, Lin Wuya figured this had to be some prince doing an incognito tour, because the Tiando Empire had a pretty serious law against impersonating a royal. This guy was young but could wrangle a massive black tortoise and tame a dragon, that screamed high-ranking family, a background beyond belief. If he wasn't a prince, why risk execution for pretending to be one? Why bring that kind of heat on his entire family? Why turn his whole family against the Tiendo Empire and risk utter destruction? So, if you looked at the facts, he had to be the real deal. All Lang Wuya could do was swallow his pride and admit his son got what was coming to him. If he hadn't been such an arrogant jerk, none of this would have happened. Now, his son was dead, taken out by a prince of the empire, and there wasn't a damn thing he could do about it. If he even looked at the prince the wrong way, his whole family would go down with Lang Wutian. So, he quickly called in a few trusted generals, grabbed a small guard detail, and personally went to beg forgiveness at the foot of Lu Yun's black tortoise, Lu Yun. He was back to playing the important guy act. His high and mighty routine left Lang Wuya and his crew speechless. He went on about how Lang Wuya's son was a bully, showed no respect for the law, broke it knowingly, and therefore deserved what he got. As his father, Lang Wuya shared the blame for his son's behavior. Lu Yun promised to report everything to the emperor, asking for a full investigation of Xinghai City. A group of people kneeled before Lu Yun's giant black turtle, scared stiff and drenched in cold sweat. They didn't dare breathe, let alone move. Please give me flowers 0. They stayed on their knees for hours before Lu Yun finally let them leave. Lang Wuya and his guys, shaking like leaves, scrambled back home. Once they were behind closed doors, they were all in a panic, trying to figure out what to do. If the prince got back to the capital and put a target on their backs with the emperor, who among the leaders of Xinghai City would survive? With no other choice, Lang Wuya gritted his teeth and said, "All right, this is a long shot, but we're out of options." His closest confidants asked, "What do you mean, Lord City Lord?" Lang Wuya's eyes went cold as he stared ahead. He said, "We gotta bribe the prince. All the bigwigs in Xinghai City chip in $1 million. Hopefully, that'll keep him quiet and stop him from running to the emperor." One of the guys looked worried and said, "Lord City Lord, wasn't the prince bidding millions of gold coins at that auction? Do you really think $1 million will impress him?" Lang Wuya shot back, "I'm talking about 1 million purple gold coins." Ah! That got everyone's attention. 1 million purple gold coins. That was 100 million gold coins. That was serious money. Lang Wuya continued, "We all have to pitch in for this. If the emperor comes after us, we're all dead. This is a matter of life and death, so don't even think about trying to weasel out of it." Some of the generals weren't thrilled. This was your son's screw-up. Why should we be punished for it? Shouldn't you be footing most of the bill? But Lang Wuya was in charge, so they kept their mouths shut. So, they did the math, figured out who owed what, and started draining their own personal treasuries. They'd been running Xinghai City for decades. Xinghai City was the richest coastal city around. Over the years, they'd all gotten pretty comfortable. 1 million purple gold coins was a hit, sure, but it wasn't going to bankrupt them, so they rounded up the money and sent a team of soldiers to deliver it to Lu Yun as local specialties. For the prince. Lu Yun got the report from his men. The city lord was sending the prince some local specialties as a token of goodwill, and asking him to put in a good word with the emperor. Lu Yun couldn't help but grin. He killed his son, and the guy didn't even complain. Instead, he was lining his pockets. Pretending to be a Tiendo Empire prince was the best move he'd ever made. It was only because he was so damn powerful, and he made sure everyone saw it. That's why they bought his act hook, line, and sinker. Hearing the city lord was sending local specialties and asking him to butter up the emperor, Lu Yun knew what was up. These local specialties weren't your average souvenirs, they were the good stuff. 0115 this time it's a big deal. 0115 this time it's a big deal. The city lord came to his senses and launched a general attack. That afternoon, Joseph King, who had been running around all day, finally got all the supplies he wanted. He loaded everything onto a huge caravan and started rolling out of the city to deliver everything to Lu Yun's black turtle. That's when he ran into the city lord's delivery team, hauling those local specialties. He was also in contact with the Konoha elf girls serving under Lu Yun. Soon, a swarm of laborers was hauling the supplies for the officers and soldiers, lugging them up onto the turtle's back. Lu Yun had one hard and fast rule: supplies had to be delivered to the base of the Black Turtle. His own workers and soldiers could come down to carry stuff up, but no outsiders were ever allowed on the turtle's back. After all, whatever supplies touched that shell multiplied 100-fold, so having outsiders carry stuff up was just asking for trouble. Any time, a random explosion could happen and create something out of nothing.